Hello, Ryan here. I wanted to do like a quick update with the UVs, a little bit of tweaks here and there, and then we'll get into making a material ID mask and then getting into texturing. So one thing that I kind of noticed was that we did have some stretching here as well as this part here actually needed to be unwrapped correctly because basically it's a strip map, but it has no end on it, so we need to fix that. I also updated to Blender 4.4 versus 4.0 just to be able to get a better version of it, which would fix an issue later on in this. So if I go into our wireframe view and then I select this little edge here, and then do a UV mark seam. That basically allows a seam to have on that section there. This one already has a seam, however, it does have this stair stepper effect that sometimes we may or may not want. So I'm actually going to try to go up. So I'm going to hit to there. And then same thing here, I'll do the same kind of method going up the staircase. So selection like so, that'll be in the four corners, and then UV mark seam. Then select everything. So in this version of Blender 4.4, it has a slightly different algorithm for it. So it has a smart UV pack, and it's pretty good. I like it so far. Basically, I'm going to add the margin to be a little bit between the UV islands, and then unwrap. So now you can see that the section here is UV unwrapped, and this section here is straightened out a little better. So we've fixed those two issues. So the only other issues is that we now have these to be back to where it was before, which we don't quite want. Might be a way. Might actually be able to just do it off of the one. Yeah, let's just try to hit this one real quick. So let's hit this here, go around. So that'll hit this one, and then do smart unwrap. Okay, so it actually breaks it up as one thing there. None of those are quite what I want. I basically want like a large strip like that. The only other one would be this one. Oh, how to grow a selection there. If I like select the top one and I press Control and the plus on the numpad, that will increase the selection there. If I go and do unwrap, okay, it kind of does that same thing and breaks it up actually more. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so let's select everything, make sure that our islands are scaled. Actually, no, that did not scale them. There we go, average. That's what I was looking for. And then pack islands. And then make sure that our margin is 0, or low, I should say, not 0. Alright, so that basically has it similar enough. And it fixes some of our issues there. So if we go back to our checkerboard, it looks better. It's fixed some of the skewing here, and also the same thing down there. So we have fixed some of those issues. Okay, so now we have a, I'm going to save my project real quick. Actually, let me do this, save as, and then do 3, 2, 3B. Okay, there we go. All right, so now this is our low poly, right? This is looking nice. We also have our low poly. We want to make sure that the other drawer here is actually in the same location as our high poly. So we need to kind of go in here and make sure that it fits, as well as fixing the position for some of these, because they should be in alignment. Like so. Okay. Alright, so now our high poly and low poly are in the same area. Alright, so we also want to make sure that with our high poly that we go and convert and apply our modifiers. So I'm going to just go through and select a lot of these to be able to apply the modifier. Okay, so we also have these ones which use that screw modifier. We'll need to use a slightly different thing, because if we use this, it actually doesn't work. So we need to go and convert these. So we go to Object, Convert to Mesh, and then that will convert them. Okay. One other thing to be able to check out, just to make sure, is that our face orientation. So one thing that can be a slight problem is the face orientation of the normal. So if we go to our low poly, and I'm going to select it, and I'm just going to take this off for a second, add a new material, just make it a blank color for now. It should be fine. You'll see that the faces on these are red. They should be blue. So if I go and select and then mesh normal flip, this should be more what it is supposed to be. Red is the wrong face orientation. So if I go in and actually go to here and go to normals, you can see that these little rods which kind of go out. So this is a polygon here, so it's a quad, but it has a face normal that goes out. So if it was on the other way, it would actually be going inside. So if I take this one and actually go into here and flip it, you'll see that it is actually going inside like that, which we do not want. We want it to actually be facing outside. So I'm going to go through and hit that one. and again, like selecting and then Control and the plus on the numpad to be able to select that and just flip, and do this with a bunch of these here to be able to get them to all conform to be the same face orientation. Okay, now the other one is the bottom one, so I'm actually going to do the inverse selection on this. So I'm going to take these and make them red, and then reselect, and then flip them like that. Select those, and then invert like that. Now, all of these should be the correct face orientation. And we'll kind of do the same thing with these as well, because these also kind of have the similar issue. I'm just going to hold that down instead of hitting it every time. Oh, not recalculate. Flip. Okay, there we go. Ah, these ones are not converted yet. Okay, we'll select these and convert them. Come on, object, convert, mesh. I can actually select all these. Get them all at once, even faster. Okay. Flip. Alright. So you also notice that the bottom on these are not filled. So we'll need to be able to select all the bottoms of these and then fill them. So we have that selection there, and then we will go to face and then fill, and then that fills them to be solid. Doing the same thing here. And last one. Okay. Alright, then we have the last one here. Go to our face selection, and then hit these ones here. Go out a little bit, grow our selection, and then invert. No, not recalculate. Come on. Alright. Okay. Face. Flip. Okay. Alright, so now our high poly and low poly all have the same face orientation. Alright, so now we need to give these colors to get our material ID map. So we're going to go in and get some colors on these. So if we go down here to our properties and go to our material, and then add a material, new material, and then we'll give this just like a blue color, right? And then same thing here, new, and then give this like a purple color, And we'll do this for all of the legs, because like we're separating out the different sections, I guess, that we want to be able to have a separate color. So I didn't actually select it, so I'm gonna go through and do it this way instead, because I don't want to make new materials. I just want to select the current materials that I have. Okay, and get the last one down here. Get new material on this. Let's make it green. Get this one. Let's make this red. Last one. Let's make it yellow. Okay, so now all these are different colors. All right. Another thing that we might have to do is make sure that our pivot is at the origin. So I'm selecting my asset, I'm going to object, set origin to 3D cursor, which is at the origin of the scene. So I'm doing that for all of our objects. Actually, I'm wondering if I can get away with selecting all of these as one. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, so now all of these should be at the origin. There's one that's missing. It's weird that it has it slightly above, but nonetheless, we'll take all these and then we will export out. So we'll go to File, Export, FBX, and then I'm going to do this as high poly version 3, and I want to make sure that this is selected here. I'm just going to make sure that this is only mesh, and then nothing too fancy here. And then export, and that'll be our high poly, and then I'll do the same thing for our low poly. Okay, File, Export, FBX, low poly, and I'll do this as number 3. Make sure it's selected in mesh. Okay, so now that should have what we need for our high poly and low poly for the export. Okay, now I'm going to go in and open up Substance Painter. So this is a Adobe product, but it was purchased by Adobe a long time ago, a couple years back. But it is a PBR or physically based rendering texturing program. So if we, it's not that bad. It is a powerful tool that you can get a lot of reuse out of, and you can procedurally texture things quite quickly. So I'm going to go in and go to File and New, and then I'm going to select my low poly 3, and I'm going to select the template for PBR metallic rough and alpha test. We're going to use a 1K texture. We're going to use OpenGL, and no auto unwrap, no import cameras or anything else fancy. And then open. Okay, so it's going to be showcasing our low poly material here in the 2D and 3D viewport. Now, let me just go through and talk about a couple of the different windows here, just to give a little bit of a rundown of this program. So we have our 3D viewport here. In order to move around in this, you have to hold down Alt and middle mouse to be able to pan, Alt and left click to be able to rotate, and then the scroll wheel to be able to zoom. Same thing on here as well. So it's very similar to other 3D programs. So it's the combination of Alt and the three mouse buttons basically. So you have a 3D viewport, you have a 2D viewport. You also have over here, which is a library of different assets. So we have things that would be in the total library. You also have things like materials, brushes, alphas, textures, all that lives in here. You also have layers over here. So I'm actually just going to throw on a quick material here. So let's just say I want to do, actually no, actually let's do, so like the texture set settings, this is like your like master material. So if you had like several materials, say in like Blender for your asset, then you'd have multiple sets of materials here. Right now we're only working with one on our low poly, but you can do multiple for a UDIM style workflow. I'm not going over that with this asset, but that is a different technique that is still very useful. You have your layers and you have properties on that. You also have texture set settings. So we're going to go to texture set settings, and this is where it has the different channels for your different things. So your base color, your height, roughness, metallic, normal, and AO. It doesn't have AO for some reason. We'll have to add that. Ambient occlusion. There we go. We don't need emissive. We don't need opacity. Yeah, that should be pretty much everything we need. Okay. So we also have a section here for baking. So this is where our this is where our baked maps live, but they are not baked yet. So we need to go to the button there, and then we need to add our high poly. So I'm going to do high poly 3, and then add this into our bake preview. This bake preview is newer. It's not in like old versions, but this is a bake preview that is very good for what we need. So you can see here that this is the red section here. This is actually something that is not getting included in our bake. So if you see the white here is our low poly, the green is the high poly, and this like yellowish section is the cage. So we can actually adjust the cage in and out to be able to be bigger or smaller to include the entirety of our asset. And so what we need to do is we need to actually have this envelop the entirety of it, so there's no more red essentially. So that will basically include everything. We might need to adjust depending upon how the bake is on this. But we have basically all of our settings on here. We also have our material ID on here as well for material color. So I'm just going to set it to default and see how it turns out. Okay, so that is now done, and you can see that it produced some pretty good results. There's still like some things that are like a little odd with it, so we can continue to work on that if we want to. But this is pretty good for a 1K map. With this, we can probably go and like throw on a wood material. So if I go in here and look for, like some wood. Let's put on this one for now. So if I put that on there, this would now apply wood to the entirety of our asset. So I want to make sure that if I go and look at our pure ref again, to be able to see what it kind of looks like, I'm going to put this generally down here. We can kind of see that it's already kind of taken shape for the kind of wood that we're kind of going for. We don't really need the 2D viewport for right now, so I'm going to take this and go into 3D only to be able to maximize our space a little better. Okay, so this allows us to be able to have a base material of wood basically on our asset. So I'm going to delete that one, and I'm going to also look for smart materials and look for woods to see if there's any other cool woods that might be useful. Yeah, that one. I think that one's a better wood. Okay, so you can kind of see that we have a couple things going on here. It generally is flowing with our EVs that we set up before. One other thing that we have is a little bit of an issue with the wood fibers. So this is a smart material, so it's not one layer. It is a folder full of settings that we can adjust. So I can actually turn all of these off, and basically it has our base color. So from here you can kind of see that if we slowly add on different parts to it, it actually will build up the entire material until we get a smart material out of this, which is very useful. Smart materials are very powerful to get results quickly. They're not the end-all be-all. You still need to be able to adjust these in order to get the best results. But it's definitely a powerful start. So from here, we actually see that like some of the fibers are actually going in the opposite direction on this part. So we actually might want to change up the orientation on this. So if we go in here and go to turn off some of these, and then we'll turn on this one. So this one here is the wood fibers, right? But we have a couple different settings here. So we actually want to go to rotation and go to 90. So you'll see that this actually changes it to be the other way, but then it also changes everything else too. So we actually have a problem. We can't necessarily use this all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all these back on. I'm going to do this and rename this as horizontal, and then I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to name this as vertical. Vert. So now we have two of these. So I'm going to change the fibers on this to be 90. So now, and there's going to be one other piece in here. I think it's going to be this one. Wait, noise. Let me figure out which one it is. It's this one. There we go. That should fix it. Okay. Okay. So now we basically have both. Oh, we also have fibers here too. Wood pattern 90. There we go. Okay. So that allows us to have one that is one direction and one that's another direction, like so. Okay, so now we need to figure out which sections we actually need to go in what direction. So we know that this one is working, but we need to be able to have it working on other ones too. So we know that this one is going horizontal, so we don't want it to go vertical, basically. So we're actually going to set up a mask. So these are masks over here. So we have this one, which is like properties. This one is masks. This one is a paint layer. This one is a fill layer. Presets, folders, and delete. So I'm going to do a white mask on this, which basically doesn't really change anything. It just basically fills the entire object with a white mask. So if I go to mask, you'll see that it's entirely white. So I'm going to change that back like so. Okay, so I actually want to get rid of some of this. So I actually need to do a paint on this mask like so. So there's an add paint to the mask here. It's not this one. This one is a separate thing. This is adding a paint layer over top of everything. This is useful, but not what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm trying to do a paint on the mask of this material. So you can see here, I'm just painting with the left click of my mouse, that it will paint a mask over this material here, and you can do that pretty straightforward for that. But the problem comes down to selection, because we need to get certain parts of that, right? So what we can do is we can actually go in and select our mask again, and then go to add via color. So with this, we're able to pick a color like so, and that allows us to quickly pick whichever ones we need. So if we go in and pick a bunch of these, that will quickly select things. Yeah, it's pretty good, but this one's not the best, so I'm actually gonna get rid of that one. We actually might need to not do this one either. Yeah, it might just be these two. Yeah, okay. And so if we turn that one back on, that one is the correct orientation, like so. Okay, so now that basically gets us like pretty close to what we need for the directions of stuff. So the only other thing that we need to worry about is this brass knob here. So I'm actually going to look for some brass, not fiberglass. About bronze. Okay, bronze. Let's use bronze instead. Okay, so basically puts it over everything, right? So we need to put a black mask on here, and then color selection, and do that one. So it basically does a little bit of everything on there, and we have like a little bit that's on the wood there. That's not quite what we want. So what we can do is we could go and try to mask this out with our mouse like this. Another way to be able to do this is to actually go into our 2D view as well. We can actually go in and get rid of it like that. Definitely double check on this to make sure that it didn't get rid of anything, which it might have. Another way that we can do is over here. So we have a paint on this, right? We can go into the paint brush. So there is a brush here, an eraser, a path tool, a projection, a polygon smudge. Like there's a whole bunch here, but we're gonna go with the polygon fill tool, and I'm just gonna select all of the ones here to be able to just fill the entire selection. So if I did like this, right, it's going to select all of these by its entire polygon, like that. And to turn this off, you just go back to your brush tool, and it gets you out of that mode. Okay, so that's pretty good for what we have here. And let's do just some basic dust. Let's choose the plasticky dust. So it's basically got some plastic, white plastic. I'm gonna get rid of that, and then I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna turn that one off and go to our mass builder. So masks are very powerful. We can actually use different generators off of this. So a mass builder is a generator, which if we go to here and go to add generator, this allows us to go through here and build up our mask via a generator. So with this one, it basically allows us to use our selections for things. So this mask is actually deriving its information off of our baked information. So when we went into bake maps, we actually baked out a bunch of different maps here. So if we go back into our 3D viewport here, we have a drop down here for the this is the entire material, but we can actually go into the base materials for all of these. So you can see that it actually has different maps that it is using. So the first set of maps here are ones that are based off of our materials that we have in the actual layers. And then below that is the mesh maps that we baked. So that is these maps here is the ones that are baked into this second section here. So you can see where it actually has the different maps that we baked, like so. And so in combination of all of those gets us this, which is our final output, basically. So on here, I'm just gonna adjust these to taste, basically. So one thing that's very useful is the triplanar projection on a bunch of the settings for the generators. But you can use this on any material. So on projections, you have the UV projections, right? So these are going to be basically off of what is in the UVs, right? But you can actually change this projection from one type to a different type. So triplanar projection can actually help in a few different ways to be able to help mask areas, as well as if there's a seam, it'll help to re-project on that. There's several ways to be able to fix that as well. But with this, I'm just going to go through and try to adjust the settings on our mask until I find a happy result. Okay, so that's got like a little bit on there. Another thing that I can do is on the entire layer, it actually has a opacity on this. So right now it's at like 100%, and this is coming on like too strong. So I'm actually going to turn this down a little bit to maybe like 30, 35%. And that kind of gives like a more subtle kind of look to it. And this seems to have like a little bit of dust variation in here. It's like black. I might actually change this. So one thing that you'll kind of notice here is that under this dust layer, it has multiple different options here. So these are the different material channels that we saw earlier. This basically allows you to paint directly and under one of these channels at a time. So like these channels up here, which these are associated with the channels that are here. And so like if we needed to change this color, we can change that like on the fly, right? So I'm going to change this to more like a brown, but like a lighter brown color. So that kind of gives like a little bit more subtle information. You can also change like the height of this as well, although dust really doesn't have very much height information. So I might actually turn that off completely. Metallic, basically it's not metallic at all. No normal, no AO. Roughness. So normally dust is not very shiny, right? So with roughness, black is shiny and white is matte. So think that black is a mirror and white is a piece of paper, basically. And like with metallic, let me put on a different material here so y'all can understand a little better what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's just imagine this is a complete like metal bookcase for whatever reason. So metal is basically on or off normally. So one is metal on and black or 0 is metal off. That's what this value here is going. And then if I do say like roughness, so it's a little hard to see, but if I like put this at a close angle, you can see that right now the roughness is basically like a mirror. It's very wet, and then if I turn it off, it's very matte, like paper, basically. So basically on, off, and anywhere in between. So I'll just leave that there for now, because I'm gonna delete that. Okay. So with this, we can get like a little bit of maybe like some color variation into it. Also adding like some shine to it. So if we go and turn off some of these, let's say this wood color, let's make this like a little bit closer. Let's do this at like 0.6, and then same thing with this one, 0.6 on the roughness. Okay. Okay, let me change this to be roughness. Okay, it's actually not that changing. Okay, interesting. I actually kind of want to get some variation in there. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, that's a little better. Okay, yeah, because if I go to roughness, yeah, okay. So that does like give it a little bit more interest, but it's not quite what I want. I'm gonna get rid of that. Put this back to here. This is part of the experimentation side of things, being able to figure out what materials you're kind of looking for. Because like the fibers are what I want. I want to have roughness variation in it, but it's not quite giving me what I want. Because I want to get like a lacquer, because this is lacquer on the wood. But it gives it more roughness variation. I'll just like put this down to like 0.4 just to have a little more. But we're gonna need to make it a little more interesting. So let's just say that I need to go and change the lighting a little bit. So if I hold down Shift and right mouse button, I can move the light around like this to be able to move the light together. It's actually moving the HDRI around. That's more of what it's doing. Okay. So there's like a little bit of dust, a little bit of so we can actually add some edge wear. That actually might be interesting. So let's do like a flat color, and then we'll change this to color pick on that color there. And I'm going to do black, then I'm going to do a generator, add a generator, and do edge, do metal edge. And so that adds a metal edge wear over the entire asset with that color that we picked. So basically this is like a wear level that I can adjust. This is based off of the curvature map that we baked out. And so the curvature actually goes in and looks at the height of the high poly, and we'll use that as reference for the metal edge wear. Now, this is used for metal, but we can use this for whatever we need. It basically adds the variation into the edge. So with that, we can adjust a little bit to kind of get the results that we're looking for. So one thing that is always a little challenging is that with a generator or a smart material, a lot of the time it will generate this like very artificial look. So one thing that we need to do is add a paint on top of this, and we can actually paint out either adding or subtracting from this. So normally it's additive. So with this, it's basically adding a brush to this, which is filled with white, which is adding to our metal edge wear on top of it. But I actually want to go in and subtract away. So I'm basically using X to be able to change between one and the other. And right now this is basically like always on or always off. So I need to change this to be less. So we can change that via these settings up here or these in here. So these are the brush settings here. So this basically allows me to have more control. So I'm taking away a little bit of this. So you can also do a alpha to this as well. So if I go in and change the alpha, I can actually go in here to alpha and do, let's say if it actually loads a different one. There we go. Okay. Let's try this cloudy one, cloudy soft brush. And I can actually go in and change the variation on this. So you can see that with these, it actually adds a bit of property to the brush. So I basically now have a cloudy soft brush that I'm basically using to take away a bunch of this edge wear. So I'm basically just going in and like hitting some of the sides a little bit, making sure that I'm hitting it from several angles, making it more interesting, and continuing to work on this. Do a little stronger. Always be looking at different angles and moving the light around to see how it looks like in different angles. Also look at it from far away as well as close up, see how it holds up. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so it's getting close to the 1 hour point. I'm gonna do some color variation. I want to try to get that. Let's do a new fill layer, and let's do like a kind of a wacky color. Maybe like a purple or something. Alright, so we're gonna go in and do a white mask generator. Get rid of this and do a 3D linear. I'm gonna flip this, put this towards the bottom. So this basically adds like a little bit of like interesting like color to the bottom. I actually might kind of bring this up a little bit, but I'm gonna turn this down. Oops, no, that's not what I want. Up this one, yeah. Okay, so that kind of adds like a little bit of a pop to the color there. It's not quite the same, but it's okay. We'll do this as a color variation. Okay, and then do this as like edge where. Name your layers. Naming your layers is good. Okay. So I think the only other thing that I might try to do is maybe like a blue. Okay. Let's see, white mask, and then do a filter, and do slope blur, intensity 10. No, the blue's not working. I'm gonna try like a yellow. Yeah, that's more interesting. Slope blur. Yeah, I don't really know if it's actually working. Okay. I don't know, slope blur like seems to work sometimes and doesn't. Not sure why. Yeah, I don't know. I'll experiment with that later. But it's getting close. So we'll probably keep it there because it's about at 1 hour. But I'm just gonna save my project because saving your project is a good idea. Okay, and do this as wooden table, and I'll just click on that to be able to get a quick render. I don't need that. And turn this off real quick. Okay, and basically it's kind of just doing a render real quick for like 10 seconds, and it's done. So then I can quickly save this. I'll put this to the desktop as a test. Alright, so that kind of gets you a quick little render here. We're going to be doing a separate section here for like full-on rendering. Plus, we're going to go and do this, but for Unity at some point. So I'm going to go back to our section, our paint section. And then I'm going to do file, export, and I'm going to set up the exact location for where this is going to live. Put this into here, in table, into textures. Okay, they're going to live here. Alright, do this as the PBR metallic. I'm going to use targas and 1K and export, and then open directory, and this is where they live. And let's do normal map. I'm just going to open it up in GIMP, and it should showcase our normal map, like so. So that's what it looks like. So with that, that's going to be it for now. So I'll see you all in the next video.